The following program is rated adults only. It contains sexual material that may offend some people.
Tonight, sensing politics with our paranormal panel.
John Key's actually going to have a very difficult 2009.
We take you to the coronation of the last king of Tonga.
Dave, good morning to you.
And the most shocking talkback sting ever.
The worst thing is if they don't pick up their doings afterwards.
While many of us were watching the election coverage on Saturday night waiting for the result, there was one group of New Zealanders who already knew what was going to happen. I'm talking about the psychics. Now, with more people watching Sensing Murder than the news, it seems slightly strange that the major network coverage didn't tap into the source of spiritual soothsaying. So we did, by asking four of the finest minds in the business to look into the abyss for the sake of New Zealand. And what we found out will intrigue and amaze you. These are the oracles. Together, they promise to harness powers of insight far beyond our comprehension. Joining forces for the first time ever, a psychic, a medium, a fortune teller, and an astrologist. This is the Paranormal Panel. Sheena is a fortune teller and crystal ball specialist. She also reads auras, palms, handwriting, and tarot cards. Rose is a psychic and clairvoyant, as well as a life coach and a meditation expert.
Hello, it's Rose here.
Astrologist Dawn uses astrological charts to foresee the future, predicting everything from the fate of our celebrities to the All Blacks and racing results. Ken is a spiritualist medium who has worked with paranormal phenomena since he was 15 years old. He teaches mediumship and also performs exorcisms. October 14, the night of the Leaders' Debate. The Paranormal Panel is gathered for the first ever group psychic reading on Helen Clark and John Key. Safely sequestered in an Auckland studio, the leaders had no idea they were being scrutinised from beyond by powers immensely more powerful than even Mark Sainsbury.
This question's for you, Helen Clark.
Inside our custom-built situation room, or sensing chamber, the atmosphere was more charged than Tony Veach and Millie Holmes combined.
Came into office, interest rates were roughly 6.5%.
Then, 7 minutes into the debate, just as John Key is talking about interest rates,
Has interest rates almost double.
the spirit world makes contact.
You had two prime ministers here who were spiritualists, Robert Stout and also John Ballance. Robert Stout's around now, and so is John Ballance. So is Mary Drever.
Medium Ken Priddy has tuned in to no fewer than 3 dead politicians.
Well, as soon as I found out about this, I sent out information to my doorkeeper, that's aka guardian angel, not angels, but that's another thing altogether. And I asked him if he could arrange or sort out something with older politicians that weren't involved in real heavy Labour Conservative politics. And he brought back for me on the day Robert Stout.
Robert Stout was Premier of New Zealand in the late 19th century. What was this decomposed Scotsman saying to us from beyond?
Robert Stout piped in and said, "This is ridiculous. Increases are habitual."
There is political things happening over in spirit as well, so it's not just over here. It's almost like a bit of a parallel. So there are guides helping politicians from spirit.
I can tell you that Helen Clark is not a well person. This is what the people are telling me.
You know what her problem is? She was born with planet Saturn in the 12th house, and that is someone who hides sorrows and deep, dark secrets.
My vision for New Zealand is to have our country the best place in the world to live in.
So what were these deep, dark secrets?
Oh, this is not allowed to be played on air. What happened was a bearded Aucklander was in San Francisco airport, and he met a very pretty Mexican youth.
Astrologist Don went on to tell us an elaborate story that involved a bearded Aucklander, a Mexican youth, the CIA, diplomatic immunity, the drug squad, an Air Force Orion, and someone named Helen.
Now, I just say that in that chart, there's just so many things that she keeps hidden.
Shouldn't people vote on issues rather than gossip, scandal,
No, that's not
character
gossip.
assassination?
It seemed our panel had split along party lines. Ken's spirits and Don's charts were anti-Labour.
It was all like, "Whoa, this is really extreme stuff." And I just thought, gosh, where did you get that from?
And Helen's a Pisces like Robert Mugabe. That must be remembered.
While Sheena and Rose, acting like empaths, sensed something different.
Because she doesn't have children, she doesn't have a family. She actually, New Zealand is her family.
Oh, she's totally into it.
But she loves the outdoors.
I was sort of feeling a bit of tension from the one, Rose, I think, the one sitting next to me. Often you find astrologers and psychics have got really crazy things in their brain.
We're going to go through line by line that expenditure. If it's something that our government doesn't want to follow...
People get fired.
Well,
The debate moved on to job losses.
322 people got fired today.
Just as Ken's spirit guides sensed employment issues for One News political editor, Guy on Espiner.
How do you define, in monetary terms if you can, what it is to be rich and what it is to be poor?
He actually is in, somehow or other, he is not keeping the job he's got. He's going to move on.
So you're saying Guy on Espiner...
It's in a state of change at the moment, job-wise.
While Ken saw a question mark over Guy on Espiner, Rose detected a ghost hovering around Helen Clark.
Yeah, I feel there was a strong influence of an older lady with Helen Clark. Maybe it's a grandmother with her.
Don struggled with Helen Clark's energy,
Just you see, she's got such negativity and nastiness in her.
while Sheena became distracted with my aura.
I can actually see your energy field emanating behind you. The light is okay for it, just behind you. Yeah. See, it's very strong indeed.
Then the leaders went at it like rabid dogs.
Telling New Zealanders that actually we might have got that bit wrong.
And the on-screen tension spilled into our situation room.
And that's all New Age stuff. I don't have anything to do with New Age because most of it's rubbish.
It's been around since
unfortunately.
ancient China, my dear.
Yes, I know.
New Age is very recent.
Yeah, but you know, when people start talking to me
Taoist.
about, well, you should meditate and you should do this.
Well, you should.
Okay, go up into a mountain and only survive on a bowl of rice a day.
Ken and Sheena seemed to descend into some kind of psychic off.
Shouldn't you do it longer?
Why?
Well,
I can contact
you'd be
the
more
spirit
balanced then,
immediately.
yeah. You'd be, your yin-yang would be more balanced and
My
your
yin-yang
body,
is
mind
balanced.
and spirit would be...
I think Sheena found that Ken was really sort of talking about men and women rather than necessarily sort of psychic and sensitive things.
He knows how to grandstand himself. I think you're a real showman. And you're a showman and you really know how to showcase yourself.
Well, I know my
That's
business. I know my craft. I study my craft every day. The lady next to me waffled a lot, you know. Rose, she went quite well, but they're only psychics, you see, and they're very new agey.
By now, the debate had drawn to a close, with the paranormal panel evenly split on the future of New Zealand.
good. Oh, yes. What do I foresee? Well, have to think about that.
I feel that nothing's going to really be achieved within 3 years.
John Key's actually going to have a very difficult 2009. He's got I think he'll win through the election, but 09 he's going to have a lot of challenges and problems because he's got a similar Uranus-Mars phase to what Robert Mugabe's had this year.
I confirm that I'm still picking up with Helen Clark, but she does have back problems and a chest problem. Whether she's got it now, I don't know. And also, she will be seen during this election, I'm sure, perhaps I'm warning her now, and she won't do it, to be favouring her leg at some time. So there's either an ankle problem or a result of the back problem.
Whilst it's too soon to say whether John Key will go the way of Mugabe, Ken appeared to be on the money when he correctly predicted mobility issues for Helen Clark. In an election dominated by the major parties, it's easy to forget about the little parties, especially the really little parties. I guess I'm talking about the nano parties. And none was more nano or more ambitious than a couple of visionaries we found in Hamilton East. Hamilton East. Proud, provincial, postnatal. A harmless, unassuming pimple growing on the bum of Hamilton proper. Not the sort of place you would pick as the home of a radical new political movement. A movement that hopes to not only change the world, but to create a whole new world, a new world order. It may be a long road to global change, but the first faltering steps on that road have already been taken by these guys. Nathan Cooper and Kevin Bowen are the face of New World Order, perhaps the newest and possibly the most ambitious political party in New Zealand.
My name is Nathan Lee Cooper. I am 25 years old. I represent the New World Order Party.
Hi, my name's Kevin Bowen. I'm 30 years old and I represent the New World Order Party also.
What is New World Order?
We want to aid the world problems on a worldwide scale. So basically, if we set up a scheme that's on a worldwide scale, we might be able to sort the matters out properly, and by targeting the world's problems, we might be able to make the world a better place for everyone. But we build the world government, which is a building that has 195 different offices, one for each country, and a world house in the middle, and then we'll rule the world from there.
This may sound wildly idealistic, but that hasn't stopped New World Order securing taxpayer funding for a national television campaign.
Hi, my name is Nathan Lee Cooper, and this is my fellow candidate Kevin Anthony Bowen. I'm going to talk about the New World Order Party. The policies of the party are to abolish war, hunger, sickness, poverty and crime on a worldwide scale. Some of the party's bigger policies are world peace, abolishing the United Nations with the world government.
As a registered party, New World Order gets this free ad on state TV. But to actually run for office, they still need to stump up with $1,000. What does a typical day fundraising and campaigning for the New World Order entail?
Means getting up, having a shave, having a shower, getting into your suit, making sure you've got membership forms in your box and a black pen, and we just walk anywhere and ask people, normally public areas. Excuse me, would you support us in our campaign, please? It only costs 10 cents, but you can give us a donation of $1.
Look, as much as I love you, I have to be funny.
Okay, thank you.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I've never heard of you.
Oh, well. Okay then, thank you. And it's just your name, address, signature and date, and you're done.
Это они делают новую партию для это они просят, чтобы ты за них вроде это написала, и они стоят за это, чтобы мир был везде и все такое. И что они хотят, эта партия? What do?
It costs 10 cents and it is under the Electoral Act 1993. Basically, that's the important parts of it, and it's just your name, address, signature and date, and you're done.
Чтобы ты расписалась. Нет, а партия что написано? Нет,
Let's go.
вроде, чтобы не было золота нигде, чтобы...
Hey, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
It's not easy changing the world from the ground up,
No, thank you.
especially in Hamilton. This bit here that says, have and will take part in saluting the ruler of the party or the ruler of the world in honour of the government.
Because normally we get them to salute us, salute me, or if there was a world ruler, they would be able to go to a football stadium packed with people, and when the world ruler comes out to talk, at the end of it, he'll salute the crowd, and the crowd will salute him.
A bit like Hitler.
Manson Mandela as well.
How do they salute? Is there a particular thing?
Yeah, it's exactly the way you did it.
That's it there?
Yeah, that's their salute.
That's the salute?
Yep, that's the New World Order salute.
Sadly, Nathan and Kevin were unable to contest the election due to a funding shortfall, but they promised to be back in 2011.
A good call, mate. We'll go to Bruce. You there, Bruce?
Hi, John. How are you?
Good, mate.
Coming up, the most shocking talkback radio sting in the history of man. Annual drive to encourage excellence in the field of talk radio. We recently carried out a covert sting on some of the country's leading talk professionals. Now, given that most talkback hosts spend about 95% of their time wanking on, we thought it would be interesting to see how these motor mouths dealt with a caller who was also wanking. And I mean that in the physical sense. So just a warning, the following item contains scenes which may offend some cultures. We strongly advise viewer discretion.
22 minutes past 11, 0800 723 465. Dave, good morning to you.
Michael Laws was running a fascinating talk about dog poo when our caller struck.
Yeah, good morning. Perhaps the worst thing is if they don't pick up their doings afterwards.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Thank you for your call, John. Good morning to you.
G'day, Michael. How are you?
Good.
Look, I just want to talk briefly about dogs and leashing dogs. I'm a dog owner, and I'm also a father of 3 children under the age of 6. And what I can tell you, and what statistics say as well, is that most of the dogs which people are worried about, which we do muzzle.
Okay. No, sorry. Okay, all right. Okay, up past 11, 0800 723 465.
Laws was so desperate for calls, he failed to properly screen our prank caller. He seemed confused upon hearing the sound of an orgasm. Once again, he failed to protect listeners from on-air masturbation.
Back to gardening. Hello, Eileen.
Yes, hi. I want to know, please, about what is crawling all over my polyanthus and the flowers and the leaves and that, and leaving holes in them.
Over at News Talk ZB, Danny Watson was hosting a gardening session when our caller struck.
You're welcome, Eileen. Hello, Lorna.
Hi, Simon. I planted bougainvillea about, must have been about 12, 13 years ago, and I'm trying to get rid of it now, but I'm struggling to get rid of it.
Drill a couple of holes into the stump. I know it's going to be relatively small, but if you can get a hole or two into the stump and then pour in something like Amatrol.
So with the Amatrol, is that the...
Are you all right there, Lorna? You're not falling over on us? Just hang on there for a minute, all right? Sorry, what's the answer?
If you use McGregor's Amatrol, which is in amongst their Weed Out brand, you'll find that you can just pour it in neat into those holes and it's all good.
Thanks for the call. Thanks for the call, Lorna. Hello, Tina.
Whilst the gardening guru was clearly thrown by the orgasm, Danny was quick on his feet, acting as if nothing had happened.
Just hang on there for a minute, all right?
The advice about the bougainvillea turned out to be spot on.
But good call, mate. We'll go to Bruce. You there, Bruce?
Hi, John. How are you?
Good, mate.
Over on Radio Live, John Tamahiri was sharing dementia stories when our caller rang.
As you were saying before, dementia is a blanket term.
So you're saying like Denise, is the previous caller, that there are possible triggers?
I totally believe that when your brain is functioning and learning things, and at that point it's growing, and it's when it starts to shut down almost as bits start to when there's
yeah. Sounds like you're having a bit of a problem there, mate. We'll just move on to Liz. You there, Liz?
Oh, hi, John. I've only just come in on this discussion.
Whilst it's unlikely that Willie Jackson would have fallen for our wank prank, Tamahiri was an all-too-easy target. He seemed confused about how to deal with on-air wanking, despite verbally indulging himself every day. Coming up, the flames, the flamboyance, the pomp and pageantry at the coronation of the last King of Tonga. In August, King George Tupou V was crowned King of Tonga in a lavish ceremony in Nuku'alofa. A lot of celebrities were said to be attending, including Elton John, Sean Connery, Mick Jagger, and even Al McPherson. When we applied for accreditation, the Tongan government told us it's best that we did not come, which made us curious. So despite their wishes, we decided to attend the coronation of a man many people are saying could be the last King of Tonga. I have to admit that my knowledge of Tonga was limited. I knew that, as in the Maori myth, the islands were fished up by Maui. I knew that Captain Cook dubbed them the Friendly Isles, unaware that the chiefs he was matey with were actually planning to kill him, but couldn't agree on what time to do it. I knew that the islands were never colonised, if you discount the missionaries. And I knew that Tonga is the Pacific's only monarchy. I'd heard about Queen Saloti, who almost stole the show at Lizzie's coronation. I'd even heard about the racist joke that Noel Coward made.
Who's that? She's the Queen of Tonga. And who's that next to her? That is her lunch.
I knew that George IV made it to the Guinness Book of Records as the world's largest monarch, 35 stone at his peak. And with the help of an American, who became his jester, he lost millions of dollars in harebrained schemes. And now his posh, Anglophile son, who zaps around the island in a London cab, was about to be crowned King George V, or G5 to his friends. In short, I had about as much knowledge of Tonga as your average TalkBack host.
It's a backward, priest-ridden, pig-slaughtering, feudal fun park. 0800 80 1080 will take your calls. It's 11 to 9.
Tongans are wary of the foreign press, who often drop by for a couple of days, collecting evidence in the ongoing case of Palangi v. the people of Tonga. They call us parachute journalists.
Should be righto.
We drop in and fly out, usually none the wiser. It's just 2 days before the coronation, and the locals are putting the last-minute touches to the decorations. The most striking features are the ornate archways that have sprung up all over the island.